What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a quick college football preview video today for the 2020 season. And up today, the Missouri Tigers from the SEC East. All right, so Missouri, where to begin? I guess you could go back to last year. On probation, violated some NCAA rules and policies. I don't even remember what it was. They were on bowl ban. I don't even think they even were bowl eligible. Had Kelly Bryant as the starting quarterback, the transfer from Clemson. A great quarterback. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They went 6-6, so they could have made a bowl game, but because of being on probation, I don't remember exactly what it was, but they were on probation. They couldn't have made a bowl game because of it. But this year in 2020, I think they want to start with a clean slate. I think they're going to. So if they win 6 or more games, good news is you can make a bowl game. So yeah. Don't do anything to have a repeat of last year, I guess. But you look at last year. Wyoming on the road lose 37-31. Then you have 3 straight home games. You win them all pretty handily. West Virginia blow them out 38-7. Shut out Southeast Missouri 50-0. 34-14, a 20-point win over South Carolina. Not too bad. Bye week, play Troy, play Ole Miss, lose on the road at Vandy and Kentucky. Bye week at Florida, you lose in a shutout 27-0. You lose to the Gators 23-6. You lose to Tennessee 24-20. And 24-14, you beat Arkansas. I'm not even going to try to give you credit there because Arkansas is terrible. And, I think Missouri is at least a decent of enough program in the SEC. Anyway, Arkansas is just terrible anyway. But anyway, you look at it like that. They had a pretty good year, 6-6. Again, could have made a bowl game, but because of probation, I don't even remember what happened. But with Barry Odom in his final year, could not make a bowl game. They fire him. They bring in a new coach. In what's that guy's name? I know he was on the Feinbaum show a while back. Eli Drinkwitz. Elijah Drinkwitz or whatever. So with that, anyway, so I'm interested to see how they handle a new head coach. I think Barry Odom was decent, but just didn't have enough. So I don't know. They do lose a few pieces to the draft. A couple guys got drafted, I think. I want to say, didn't like a wide receiver someone get drafted? I don't know, but I think 1 or 2 got drafted. They got a redshirt junior quarterback in Sean Robinson. I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about Missouri, so I can't really say anything on the players. I know a bit about the SEC, not so much every single player, but I will say that I can call a game. I know a game when I see one. Again, they lost at Vandy last year. That means they get them on at home this year. But Vandy's terrible to begin with. So you look at the 2020 season. Start off with the home opener, Central Arkansas Bears in Columbia, Missouri. Then you play home against Vandy, at South Carolina, home against Eastern Michigan. Then you go to Knoxville at Neyland Stadium, play the Volunteers at BYU. Yeah, have fun with that. Yeah. Home against Georgia, home against Kentucky, bye week at Mississippi State, at Florida. Louisiana comes to town, not LSU, but the Raging Cajuns, as they call them, and then your rival, your cross-division rival in Arkansas. I don't know whether to call this a cupcake schedule or not, because, again, this is Missouri we're talking about. The forgotten team of the SEC, in my opinion, right? Like, you talk about Missouri football, but sometimes we forget what conference they're in, don't we? Let's be honest. Sometimes I forget about them. And I know I could probably name most of the teams, if not all in the SEC. And Missouri is one of those teams that's the last team I'm going to think of. I think of teams like Vandy and South Carolina and Georgia and Kentucky, obviously. I think of Ole Miss. I think of Arkansas. Missouri's just, but anyway. So, I look at this schedule. It's not good. Listen, Central Arkansas, I think they're going to be decent enough to win that game. Vandy at home. Vandy's terrible. If this were on the road, I would give it to Vandy. This is at home. I'll give it to you guys. At South Carolina. Haven't done a South Carolina preview video yet. I've talked a little bit about them in some other SEC preview videos. This is a game I have not picked previously, obviously. But I'm going to give it to South Carolina just because it's in Columbia, South Carolina. So you go from one Columbia to another, but you lose in Columbia in the other. So, Eastern Michigan, cupcake. I don't know. I feel like you come off a loss, you get a cupcake to kind of rework it a bit. So I would say maybe you could win this one. Eastern Michigan's pretty terrible, a FCS high school type of team. I'm sure they've had some good players over the years in like the 50s or something, but come on. Now they're just, who state? Whatville? So, but you could probably win that. At Tennessee, at BYU. At Tennessee, I'm going to give it to the Vols. It's home again in Knoxville. I like what Jeremy Pruitt's doing with the program. I did a Vols preview. That was one of the first ones I did. I'm still on board the Pruitt train a little bit. Love the hire. Love his recruiting. Looks like he's going to do well for 2021. We'll see if he can keep it up and those commitments can sign. Love the recruiting this year as well. And I think he's got it going in the right direction in Knoxville for the Volunteers. And I see no problem with them winning at home against Missouri. At BYU. BYU. Speaking of the Volunteers, listen. Tennessee lost to them in double overtime, or maybe it was regular overtime, whatever, last year at home. They got their stuff together. BYU can win this game at home. I don't know. I don't know. You look at the next 2 weeks, Kentucky and Georgia. I'll give you the Kentucky game. You're not beating Georgia. So there's a loss there. The BYU game, I don't know. Again, BYU beat Tennessee last year. I don't care what the excuse was. You guys lost to a Mormon school. I'm going to give it to BYU because they're at home. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give that to BYU just for the heck of it. Because they're at home. And, What's their football history look like anyway? Apparently, the ESPN FPI has BYU winning 6 games. They got a ball record of 15, 21, and 1. That's pretty bad. I guess it's decent. It's close somewhat, but I don't know. But I'm gonna give that to BYU. Now, if this were a home game for Missouri, I might give it to Missouri. But this is on the road. I think it could be one of those games they don't have it in them coming off a loss at Tennessee. Home against Georgia and Kentucky. I like Georgia. I think everyone does. Kirby Smart. I did a Georgia preview video. Obviously, I would be stupid to pick Georgia to lose this game. I know it's on the road for Georgia, right? But they've pretty much beaten the lights out of Missouri, no matter where they played them. That's one of those teams that can consistently beat. Kentucky in a homecoming game. Ooh, this is tough. On October 24th. I'm not sure. I don't know what to make of Kentucky and Mark Stoops this upcoming year. I really don't. Kentucky's tough to figure out. They were somewhat relevant a couple years ago. When they were competing for the, I guess they were like second or third in the East a little bit and lost a game to Georgia that they could have won to potentially clinch the East Division. But since that year, that was, 2018, I think? But since then, the past couple of years, Mark Stoops has just had that program take a downfall a little bit. Let's see, 2020 recruiting, they're 23rd in the nation. That's not bad for Kentucky, I guess. I think Kentucky goes on the road there and wins in Missouri. Bye week on Halloween, October 31st, at Mississippi State. Come off a bye week. Have time to rest. I'm going to give it to Mississippi State. Probably going to be a night game, even if it's not. It's a tough place. The cowbell sound and everything. It's a tough place to go and play. I think Mike Leach could do a pretty good job in his first year as a head coach, and that could be a game that he can win and get this program going in the right direction where he wants it to go. So I'm going to give that to Mississippi State at Florida. That's a no-brainer. Florida and Dan Mullen going in the right direction. I don't care what guys like Uncle Lou, as a Georgia fan, say. I like Dan Mullen. I like what he's done with the program the past couple years. He just hasn't gotten over the hump of trying to beat Georgia and win the East. That's all he has not done, if anything. So I'm giving that to Florida. November 21st, Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Cupcake. Should be no problem. They're terrible. Listen. That's like University of Louisiana right there, I'm pretty sure, right? I'm sure it's a nice school. But football-wise, that's high school right there. And then Arkansas. Oh, man. This is Arrowhead Stadium. Somewhat neutral site. Consider it home field if you want to, even though it's not in Columbia. But, I don't know. I don't see how Arkansas could get any worse than they were last year or year before that or whatever. They could have some improvement with Sam Pittman coming in. They could win this, but since I think Missouri's better than that, I'll give them that. So, with that being said, that's the schedule. They do not win the SEC East. They don't even try to compete. With that being said, let's see. They will lose. Georgia. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the losses, man. I'm trying. Hold on. They're losing at Tennessee, home against Georgia, at Florida, at Mississippi State. That's 3 losses. So, let's see. Florida, Mississippi State, Georgia, at Tennessee, at South Carolina. So they're okay. sorry, I'm just getting a little confused here. Had a long day so far. First loss will be week 3 at South Carolina. 2 weeks later, back-to-back losses, Tennessee and BYU. Yeah, I'm having them lose to BYU. So that's 3 losses, plus a Georgia loss. At Mississippi State. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I guess I have a feeling that Kentucky game could be a trap game. I know it's a home game. I know it's homecoming. But I'm going to give that one to Kentucky, and I think they pull an upset. So with that, the record for Missouri football in 2020 will be 5-7. Oh, you were so close. You just came off bowl game probation, trying to see if you could make the postseason. I don't see it. 5-7. You need 6 wins to be bowl eligible, and I just don't see it happening. Again, you get a new coach. We'll see what happens. A lot can happen with a new coach. Normally, they struggle their first couple years, especially in the SEC, although I do like what Jeremy Pruitt has done with the Vols. I do like what Kirby Smart has been able to do, but when it's a team like Missouri or whatever, it's tough. So anyway, about 5-7, not quite bowl eligible. You need 6 wins. You won't get there this year, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. Anything could happen in the SEC and rivalry games. You could win all your home games. Right? You could, if you pull an upset against Georgia, man, either Georgia is really bad this year, or Mizzou should be put on the map or something. I don't know. But anyway, about 5-7 the record, and that's pretty much it. Mizzou fans, tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why you're going to go 15-0 or win the East or do this or do that. Any other fans of college football in general or whatever team, comment down below. Let me know what you think of Missouri in 2020. But I'm sticking to 5-7. And I guess that's pretty much it for this video. Hit the like, subscribe if you're new, all that as well. And comments are always appreciated. And that's pretty much it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, Ballard Sports Media checking out. Y'all have a good day.